So I want to talk about something different now because, yeah, it got me thinking. My ex has been in contact with me again, and I was just thinking about all the things that have happened over the past few months with like household building and stuff. Um, my God, this video idea has come about because of um a streamer called Daltos, who, for anyone who isn't aware, he's part of the York Scotsman network, and he does gaming variety. But I forget that he sort of goes on these tangents and routes, but they're not bad. They're quite sensible, really. I really can't fault most of it, what he says, and it's fine. Today, sorry, I didn't get the pronouns. So apologies if that's not right. But they see Doctors was talking about things like how people feel personally attacked and how the lack of intervention in sort of how people see posts and stuff is probably what's causing all these sort of anti groups and stuff. So like anti LGBTQ plus and anti vegan, even anti disability, anti mental health, all this sort of stuff, anti woke. And Datos was talking about how this feels like an attack essentially. Because from both perspectives, it's kind of an attack, and in a sense, it takes you to sort of change your mindset a bit, so it just doesn't feel like an attack. And that's important because you do need to sort of consider like various different things, like I'm trying to think, like this how the person feels, for example. That's pretty important. It's also the issues that the person has. Like, there could be learning difficulties or disability or something like that. But speaking from my own experience, which is the whole point of this, I can safely say that I feel I've been attacked a lot, and I actually don't think this is an exaggeration. I think it's just fucking just a bunch of bullshit that's been spouted at me. I've known since 2022, or maybe 2021, I can't remember when it was when this all started. I've had serious mental health issues and now even physical health issues. And this was playing on me a lot. It was to the point where I had to move house. And that's how I ended up in this worse situation. And it just sucks to be here, really. I've had good times, but there's ultimately not been any room to sort of improve myself. And that's one of the problems. It's because I'm in such a rough state that I can't begin to improve myself. Because what I didn't realise I had back then is a bunch of disorders and mental illness. So I got diagnosed last year in I think November, just about there, with autism and PDD. PDD is a type of autism, panic disorder, and social anxiety disorder, and OCD. That's the other one. That's apparently a type of anxiety. Don't know why. But there's also dysphonia, which is a type of depression. And these are important in understanding myself, and I don't think they're necessarily 100% correct. But they explain a lot of how I feel and why people seem to think that I don't take advice. And actually, it's like a PDA trait, actually, to sort of see advice as an attack. To sort of see your routine sort of broken up and beliefs sort of destroyed. And I've actually become accustomed to sort of changing my beliefs anyway because I want people to know that I'm honest and I'm biased. And I don't mean any harm with my actions or anything. it's just difficult, really, because nobody really thinks about that, and that confuses things. It just creates so much bullshit. It is seriously ridiculous. So, try not to get distracted. I keep fucking looking at things. Yeah, I was thinking about like a year or two ago when I was obviously expressing these sort of mental health concerns, and I got given a variety of advice, and to be honest, they weren't good. And this is because of how complicated my mental health situation is. Because obviously now that I know what I have, I can sort of address it at the source, and actually I realise I haven't really done much about it. Like I need to start sort of addressing the sort of way to cope with these and how to redirect stuff and ground them. I know a little bit about grounding, but I don't know enough, to be honest. And that's quite damaging. And I don't think I'm actually going to edit this video, to be honest. At the point I might make a quick thumbnail, but yeah. Anyway. It's extremely damaging when someone accuses me of not taking help and not sort of accepting it. Because I have, and actually one of the advice I got given that was actually perfect for that situation was do it. And if they're wrong, it's on them. Because, you know, I've been lied to a lot in my life. I haven't had people be honest with me, and that's extremely damaging, especially with me having autism and OCD and anxiety for that matter. It's just fucking hell. I can't even begin to describe how bad that's been. And like with my skills, it's just terrible. I honestly can't believe people lie to me. Like even people I know quite well. I thought we grew up. I was motorcycles, but no. Okay. I lost track because of the fucking bike. I did pause briefly. Yeah, the advice. So I took that advice about taking other advice to prove wrong, and I did just that. I wasn't going into this like thinking, oh, it's just not going to work. I'm just going to say it's not going to work, even if I do it. It's more like I want to help myself and I want to see something happen. I want things to be done. So like I took a variety of advice. I read some articles. I read some sort of. There was like someone sent me positive affirmations. Yeah, positive affirmations. I started repeating those for over a week, and no, there's no difference. And even in my euphoric mood, which is quite rare now for some reason, even on antidepressants or antipsychotics technically, I'm not seeing any difference. I'm not euphoric, and that's a problem, really. It's really, really worrying, and it's also disrupting my life to an extent. I won't go into that too much. It's pretty serious, and these positive affirmations I've tried on and off for the past year, nothing's changed. And honestly, with like regards to people, meeting them, talking to them, the positive affirmations don't draw them to me. And in fact, in the case of like my ex, I don't want to go too personal. I think the reason that my ex even wants to talk to me is because she's in a vulnerable position, and I don't blame her. Like, it's actually bad enough. I've considered getting a restraining order against the bully. She's not the bully, just to make that clear. It's a housemate. I want nothing to come between me and her, for example, even though they know each other. And that's a tough thing, really, because my housemate's a fucking womanizer slash alpha male. Tries to be dominant, and one day I'm going to show him how dominant I can be. But yeah, the situation is fucking ugly, obviously. But like that doesn't give me hope, to be honest. Like being contacted by someone who's desperate, it's not a bad thing. And I would facilitate needs if need be, because I understand the situation. I know what it feels like, but at the same time, I've been made to feel like I'm worthless and that should be like a version of my life and stuff. I should be lonely, despite people saying I shouldn't be lonely and deserve love. And again, this ties into the honesty thing and how it's a fucking lie. It's a lie what people tell me. Oh, my light's quite dark in here. Yeah, so that the positive affirmation thing didn't work. Being positive to people didn't work either. So, this is the thing about being honest and biased. The fucking truth reveals itself, and oftentimes you just see like cult-like behaviour, to be honest. People devote themselves to these things that somehow work for them, and you can't tell if it's a lie or truth because somehow it works for some people, but it doesn't work for others. Like, there's no efficacy there, and as far as I know, there's no studies on that sort of thing. And even then, a study needs to take in all accounts, like visible mental issues and stuff. Like, for me, I've got anxiety, my learning difficulties, autism, OCD. Naturally, I just sort of catastrophize things as people put it to me. And that's difficult because something that seemingly works for other autistic people may not work for me, for example. And that's really complicated stuff. So the other bit of advice that I got was, actually by a close friend who I actually still talk to sometimes, I got suggested to do things I don't like. So that'd be like things like with my anxiety, that I go somewhere that I feel that I'm too anxious to go to. And I did that twice, actually more than once. And basically all it taught me is that it's just neutral. Like, there's nothing good about going outside, but there's nothing bad about it either. And that's one of the problems. I face that problem every day. Sometimes I go outside and have a really good day. Like, I remember one day I went to some place where I live, and it was a fucking gorgeous view, and I'd never seen anything like it. I've got the pictures on my phone still. It's just mind blowing how beautiful it is. The problem is that later that day, I got fucking harassed and bullied by my housemate. So all that going outside, I'll go into that thing later, like what it does, but just everything sort of, I don't know how you describe it. If it comes to a disaster and you just get home after a good day and then you're just bullied and harassed, it's just not fair. I want to relax. I've also exercised so fucking much since being here. It's actually crazy, and I've actually ended up putting on weight because of medication and overeating and stuff. Like, even just then, I just stressed ate, and I've got a fucking packet of crisps here. Had half in the afternoon and had the other half this evening. And I almost never snack. So it becomes a really big problem. Part of it is the medication, but I think another part is stress. What's some other advice I've gotten? I did try to take my own advice once about not giving into issues, because that's what they want. I think that's a solid piece of advice for anyone, but it also depends on your mindset and if you can even think about it. Like right now, I've got some alcohol in my body, let's be honest. And it's It's really complicated. I've noticed that I've not been able to play like Final Fantasy very well because I just played that. I don't know if it's the alcohol or what, but I'm not even that stressed out at the moment because the housemate is away at the moment, which has been fucking lovely. I'm just going to describe how good that feels. Yeah. What's the other piece of advice? I'm trying to think like in order because this all started 2022. I've been on Discord for a while. People suggested therapy. Oh yeah, therapy. Oh boy. This is the thing about the NHS. They're fucking scumbags. There's no two ways about it. It's just scummery everywhere. Like, it's so bad that I've considered private healthcare, and I don't even know if I can afford that. The thing that they kept suggesting, they kept diagnosing me with stuff like IBS and kept giving me like Laxido, which apparently can cause a hole in my intestine, and that explains why I was fucking bleeding. Like, it's just absurd. The sort of shit they put me through. At least the last doctors I was with, because they're all NHS linked and stuff. But this doctor was like foreign as well, and to be honest, I don't know if he even understood medical stuff. He also tried to sort of look at my hemorrhoids like, a few times as well. I had a chaperone, luckily, but those experiences were uncomfortable, and I was just like sitting there like, why? You've done this 3 times now. Why do you need to look again? It's not going to be any different, and that causes a lot of stress and stuff. And later I found out that it's an anal fissure caused by, I think, ulcerative colitis. I think that's how I could come by. But also severe strain in his eye discovered recently as well. I sort of opened it back up by accident, so, well, not by accident, because of medication and stress. But the therapy just didn't help. I went through 2 courses of cognitive behavioural therapy, and this was in an attempt to quote unquote address depression. But they didn't. They addressed my anxiety, which is a different fucking thing, and it's not why I went there. There's just this constant focus on anxiety, like, I couldn't stand it, and like, halfway through I was like, I'm not sure if I even want to do this anymore. I did it to the end, and I tried one copium mechanic, tried a few actually. Like, one was like imagining a safe place, and that helped to an extent. That was one of the only things I got from that. That's actually the inspiration for one of my images, fun fact. I think it was, I can't remember, sleep. Was the image? I don't know, but it's based on Santorini, Greece, and it's basically a fantasy world where the islands are just floating and you've got airships and stuff. That was kind of my relaxing place. It's a bit bizarre, but it is that. I just like it. So I made an image on it, but yeah. And then I've got a bunch of other sort of quote unquote advice from these therapy sessions, and they did not help. And in my second course, I was stupidly asked for the same therapist because of the sort of relationship, because I turn up mute when I first meet people. Then I just don't speak much or at all. And that gets really complicated as well. I'm actually the same in real life. Like, sometimes when I go out with people, they say good morning to the people walking past, and I'm just like, I just try to crack a smile and that's it. Also, that doesn't help, by the way, because people say that even just smiling at people helps. No, it's a fucking lie. I don't know what people are smoking to think that helps. But, The therapy just didn't help, and I remember in the final ever session, I just quit outright. And it just kept trying to get me to do something about, like, my suspected ADHD, I think, and I just quit. I just went out of there. Never responded again. I also got given fucking homework to do. That's a fucking crazy thing. I don't want to be doing this fucking studying for my fucking anxiety. That isn't even that big of an issue anyway. And it's not even addressing the source of anxiety or anything. And it's not even the type of anxiety that needs to be addressed for that matter. Because I only recently discovered I potentially have something like agoraphobia because I can't even get out the front door some days. And that's because of stress. And like, that's the source of it. Address the fucking stress, address depression, not the fucking anxiety. This is a stupid thing about therapy. They think they have the answers, but they don't always have it. It's not to say all therapy is bad, but come on. I'm definitely not someone who's sort of preaching holier than thou shit like a lot of people do nowadays. Like, mine is obviously anecdotal. And that should be acknowledged in a lot of cases, but not a lot of people do. But yeah, therapy sucked. So the next thing I did was try to put myself out there online. It didn't help. And in fact, people were more repulsed by that because I was just there. There's no reason given to me. People kept saying like it's the negativity or it's the depression that makes people not want to talk to you, but that's just cruel then. Like, you're a fucking abuser. I'll just say it how it is. I know from my own situation now that if I see someone visibly depressed or unhappy, I have an obligation to help. And meanwhile, you got these people, vegans, for the record, saying that you can't be depressed in a place like this. You're just unattractive if you're depressed. That's not the reason why people are fucking attracted, though. Like, even on, like, when I was doing dating, which is the whole reason I started putting myself out there even. Like, nobody acknowledged me, despite my confidence, despite the information that I give them. It's just fucking silly. Like, ironically, the only dating people I could get are, like, desperate gay guys. Even then, it just didn't work out. Like, there was one guy who I actually started to develop a sort of friendship with. Actually, two, actually. One of them sort of removed me randomly one day, came back and then removed me again. The account completely disappeared. I have no idea what that was about. And the other one I met through another dating place. Actually, the first one wasn't a dating place, but yeah, the second one was. And it was just creepy all the fucking time. There's like memory loss issues as well. I don't know whether I diagnosed or not, but it just felt like memory loss. I was constantly being asked like different things, like why are you depressed? Why are you anxious? Or even like do you want to masturbate together or something like that? I was like, no. Like, I'm depressed for different reasons. I've told you this multiple times. I'm anxious for multiple different reasons, and no, I don't want to masturbate because I'm just not up for it. And that, for some reason, was such a hard point to put across, so in the end I just ended up blocking the guy. Because it's just fucking creepy, and this is like almost alpha male behaviour. So yeah. Well, I'm genuinely anxious about meeting people now. Not just for that reason, but just from online experiences overall. I've been so fucking traumatised by this shit. It's why I just don't speak anymore. It's like when I open my mouth, suddenly I attract all the flies. And I'm the shit. So what the fuck is this about? And that leads into the other bit of advice about helping myself first. I remember when I was just happier, caring about others, just dedicating my life to them, like I'm trying to do now. Actually, of my hobbies like music, art, gaming videos. I don't necessarily play games just for videos, but I do play them for fun. I want to share that fun with other people. I've actually made an effort for like the first lot of random moments to not make any sort of angry, ranty things in the videos because I don't really want to spread that sort of thing, but gaming has become so shit these days that I have to say it. I have to sort of speak my mind because nothing's going to change if I don't. But I think the advice there that I forgot what the fucking advice was great. Uh, oh, damn it, it's gone. I'll remember at some point. Yeah, the advice I need to help myself, that's it. The problem is, that's not how you address a mental health issue. That's a generalisation, and that's not healthy. Actually, recently I called out someone for generalising mentally ill people. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with mentally ill people inherently. There's only something wrong with the actions. I don't care if people want to kill each other, or like kill someone or whatever. If it's an inherent trait that they can't change, fair enough. But we obviously don't want them killing people, because that's hurtful to us, and, well, it's going to be hurtful to them because they can't necessarily control it. They might even get depressed over it, who knows. That's the point, really. You need to acknowledge this stuff, and nobody seems to acknowledge that with me. And yeah, everyone else doesn't get acknowledged. As far as I know, there's very few people out there who actually acknowledge this stuff. Like, watching The Sopranos recently, and like, it's so fucking interesting how sort of ahead of the time it was to an extent. Like, they have mentions of like ADHD, they've got therapy here, a therapist, seeing a therapist, which I thought was interesting. IBS, as a mention of that, and even paraphilias. Fucking paraphilias. Like, I've never heard a show touch on that before. I just think that's fascinating, but yeah, that's probably something that's going to make it to my things of 2024. But so far, it's turning out good. Even though the show has sort of got like iffy bits, like you're not supposed to like the characters, to be honest, so that's why they're using that language. That's why they're dropping F slurs and N words and stuff. And my all-time favourite cunt. Um, it's just interesting that people just don't acknowledge these truths about the world, and that's why it's such a shitty place sometimes. You have to remember, like, people who are like paedophiles or masochists or whatever, they have families, they know people, they probably have a role in society and actually have a good purpose. Like, there's musicians who, unfortunately, are paedophiles and some have offended. I should think most of, to be honest, if they're famous, but again, still human beings and still worthy of love and respect, regardless. It just sickens me to think that we can sort of witch hunt innocent people, and even like well-meaning people, maybe some who have offended and want to change. It's just a crazy world we live in. And that's kind of how I feel with my stuff. With anxiety and possible schizophrenia, actually. I reckon I might have some sort of paranoid schizophrenia. It might be OCD, I'm not sure. It could be linked even. But yeah, self-help and just caring for myself doesn't help. Like, even on this medication, I'm still kind of miserable. Like, on the days I'm depressed, I actually have to give people advice because I need to remember the advice, but I don't remember in the state. So I need it to be said back to me, but I don't have that for some reason, so it's fucking frustrating. It's when I need it most. Like, I spend hours sometimes in a completely depressed state where I can't move, can't do anything, can't bring myself to do anything or even think for that matter. And it's dangerous to an extent because one day it could just get really bad or I could even pass out. And I've never passed out before. Hopefully I'm not immune to passing out because sometimes I think that would be a blessing. Yeah, it fucking sucks. I'm trying to think of other advice. I've been asked to make eye contact with people. No, I don't know why, but I just can't make eye contact. I've even tried looking at shoulders, which is awkward because I see breasts and I think, oh god, she's going to think I'm creepy. Uh, and then sometimes I look at like the forehead and that's just too much. There's absolutely no middle grounds and that's frustrating. But also I just don't care because I'm so used to not facing people when I talk. It's just much easier to talk that way. And people who actually understand autism will realise that's actually completely normal. Like, they're not sort of showing an attitude or anything. Just how we do things. Trying to think, is there anything else to talk about here? I'm pretty sure I've covered almost everything. Uh, yeah, I think that's everything. Spec of 32 minutes, that's sad. Yeah, I'll see everyone in another video. It's like, I just have to get this off my chest because I hate the fact that I felt that I've been attacked, and I think I have been attacked, to be honest, because of issues that I can't control and that other people can't control. But actually, now I think about it, the people who are attacking me are probably egoists, probably seeking power or something. So that says a lot about them, and that's all the more reason to sort of think of myself as better than them and better than other people. And that's not an egoist thing necessarily, it's just a coping mechanism. Because I just can't stand some people. I think it's raining in 20-degree weather. Okay, I'll see you another time. It's because of a fucking window.